Hello, good day, and welcome back to the Integration Runbook series. My name is Joe Burns from MSP Blueprint, and today I want to talk to you about SQL actions within Halo Integration Runbooks. So there might be times when you're doing a runbook where you need to query some data and get a result from within Halo to decide whether you should move on and do particular steps. I'm going to show you a quick example of where this is coming in really useful for me and something we're building in at Reformed IT. And then I'll show you how to do the SQL query, because it is a bit of a funny one and everything has to be precise, very difficult to diagnose. Hopefully this will be improving in future versions of Halo from the runbook perspective. But for now, you have to make sure that you've dot the I's and cross the T's in order to get it all fully functioning. So hopefully this video will help you if you are stuck with SQL queries within runbooks. Let's jump straight over to the presentation. This is the runbook that I've been building. It's not fully built out yet, but I kind of just wanted to show you where I'm at and how I'm using SQL and what I'm getting it to do. First, I want to show you the exact process that we're using and what we're using it for. So we've built in Reformed, we've built or building a referral scheme essentially, so that you can go on as a client, as one of our end users for a client, and you can fill in some basic information about a potential referral. The idea behind this is that we want our end clients to and the users from the end clients to be able to register a referral so that we can reward them if we end up taking on the work. So that's the idea. Other MSPs, I think, have done something similar, but let's go through and show you how this works. So if I set up a referral and I go through and I'll just, in capital on top, I just use whatever I can see on my desk. Contact name is going to be Jim Bean. An email address will be jim@beanco.com. And contact telephone number will leave blank, and we're just going to put referral. Obviously, client would probably give us a bit more information. When we hit submit on here, what it's going to do, it's going to create a ticket as the end user, and you can see that it's done this automation, which is in the workflow. So I'll show you that briefly now. I haven't fully built out this workflow yet, but we have an automation on here. This automation simply runs an action, a quick action, and the quick action is basically to do referral check, which is a runbook that I've created, one that you saw here. So it's this runbook. When that triggers, it will basically go off. I'm just going to refresh. It would auto refresh in a second. I'm going to refresh this page. It goes off and it comes back and says referral approved. We've checked your referral and we don't already have capital on tap linked as an opportunity. If we qualify this opportunity, you will get a £25 Amazon voucher. You will also be rewarded a minimum of up to £100 if we win the client. A minimum of £100 if we win the client. This is kind of what this is for. The runbook checks to see whether we have any opportunities that we've registered already that have the same domain as the one that I put in the referral form. To show that this works, so that says referral approved. If we go back and create another referral, and I'm going to put in MSP Blueprint for this one, contact name Joe Burns, address of Blueprint. Leave that. And I'm going to put this one through. I should be in the system as a contact. See, again, it's doing the domain check. And you can see here now it says referral check, referral rejected. We've checked your referral. This is instant, obviously. We've checked your referral and we already have MSP Blueprint linked as an opportunity. Thank you for putting them forward. We would appreciate if you know someone there you could put in a good word. So this is working dynamically in the background to determine, as the email domain that they've entered, have we already got that in the system? So it does a lookup using SQL to see if that already exists. If it does, if we've already got it, then it's coming back and saying, actually, you know, this isn't a fresh referral. If it's not already there, we're going, yeah, okay, that's great. We don't already work with this company, so we're going to approve that referral. So that's generally what we're trying to achieve with it. In the runbook itself, you see in the runbook itself, we've got the very first action here because it's triggered from a workflow. We do know the ticket number because this is coming from within a ticket. So we know that it's coming from an existing ticket, even though it's running as an automation in a workflow. And literally the very first step that we do is to run a SQL query against the database. So I've put together this the SQL query. This basically goes and looks, it chops off the at symbol, it trims it down, so we're just getting the domain. It does a select distinct, so it's basically looking for unique email addresses within our existing faults table, but where it's looking at the opportunity email address. So wherever we've got an opportunity email address already filled in, it'll look against all of those that we've already registered, and then it does a comparison against a custom field that is within the ticket. So as the referral form was filled in, this CF referral contact email is then stripped to make it the domain again, and it basically compares to look to see if we already have that in the list of results. If we do, then true, we've got a match, else false, and then it ends. You can see end as domain match. Now it's important to note that you and test this in the report builder, but it's important to note that this result is what we're looking at further down here. So not entirely sure why it's in twice, but this one of the things I've noticed though is I've tried using the output variables for this, and it doesn't tend to work in the other steps of Runbook because I can't seem to get it to match anything. So I believe we have to use Runbook-level variables for this. When we're doing it, I tend to just go add, and then because I'm creating a new one, we can do add a new Runbook-level variable. We can kind of just do that, hit save, and then we can start to build out the variable this way. Obviously, as I've already done it, I'm going to show you what we've already done. You give it a domain. I've just given it the name domain match, which is the same as the SQL result comes back from. I've done it as a string, and in this is important for the SQL response. We have to encase the variable in the triangular brackets, and we're doing response. We class it as an array. The results are an array essentially, and because I'm only getting a true or false back from it, and generally I think in most cases you'll be looking for some data, looking to match some data. So I'm looking for the first row that comes back from the report, and then it's basically what column that I'm matching against from the SQL response. And as you saw and kind of see here, it just says domain match. So that's what I'm matching against. Put the exclamation point in to remove the quotations, and that's the response. Another thing to note is that putting variables into the SQL, because that's what you're going to be doing a lot of the times when you're running SQL in a runbook, you're going to be taking probably an output variable from somewhere else, and then you're going to be using it inside SQL to compare something or to look something up. Now, one thing to note is that you don't put quotation marks around, or single quotations or quotation marks. You don't put those around the variable itself. And another thing that I've found is you have to use the exclamation point to strip off quotation marks from a string. If you don't, it will add them on and it will cause a problem. By default, seemingly, this SQL function will add the single quotations, but it will add it around the variable anyway. So you need to remove the quote marks from within the variable. That's the only way it's going to work. I've had I'd say minutes, but hours of messing around, fiddling to try and get this configuration right. And that is the way to get the result. So if you pass your variables through exactly like that, and then you basically pull your column out with a particular name, then you can use that in your Runbook-level variable. And in our case, once we've done that, we've then simply got a check that the domain matches. So we can then, you'll see the Runbook-level variable appear in conditions. So we've just done a domain match and is equal to false, which means there isn't already one in our system. And if there isn't one in our system, ironically, it goes to matched, because we're saying that you're okay. There's no existing client, and that's where we're writing back to the ticket to saying that your referral's been approved. So that's how we can use SQL within a runbook to do a lookup or to find some other information and match against some other information, and then use that within the runbook in further stages. You can obviously all get information back from the SQL query and use that within a runbook step as well. So it doesn't have to just be a binary true or false. You could take data and use that within one of the steps in the runbook as well. Hopefully that gives you enough to go at in terms of how to use SQL within a runbook. But if you do have any questions about how to do this, then please enter them in the comments below. If I do get any questions, I'll do a follow-up video to try and help cover and fill in any gaps in understanding from this video. Hopefully that's been useful, and if you carry on through the series, we'll be adding new videos all the time, and hopefully we can help build your runbook knowledge within HaloPSA. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.